Message to all my leaders and supervisors. Make sure you're not giving out bad directives. And I'll give you guys a real example that happened to me. I once had a supervisor tell me, as part of my success plan, that to make sure you don't ask people for positive feedback and don't ask them to send me any positive feedback, because if they do, I'm going to question them and ask if you told them to do it. Now, that's a horrible directive. And it's a horrible directive, especially when you're a game changer. You're working harder, not just your team, but you're working harder than the entire organization. I mean, you're working so hard, the leader of the organization at the time literally told you that he's never seen nothing like this before, and yet you're told by a supervisor to not go and gain any positive feedback. You can see how that sounds a little counterproductive, right? I hope so. Don't do that, because when you do that, when you tell your team, when you tell your employees, when you're telling your business partners to don't go out and get positive feedback, you might as well just tell them to don't be successful. Because part of being successful in a career, at a job, or part of a business is building those relationships. Now, what that supervisor probably should have said, just out of his defense, was probably don't be going around begging, or don't be going around trying to, kiss up for feedback. But even then, he didn't even have to tell me that, regardless, because I wasn't that type of individual, and I still am not that type of professional. But when you tell them that, when you tell your team that, you're basically putting your foot on their success, and it's a horrible directive. Also, when you give bad directives, you lose credibility, trust, and respect from your team and partners. You don't want that. I've seen supervisors, and they were supervisors for a long time. Some didn't care, some did, and they were not respected. In fact, the people that promoted them there, that were no longer there, guess what? They were on their own island, in their own world, and the people just did not respect their leadership at all. And some of them were even scared from the management, and even some of the people that's even beneath them, because when they talked and whenever they came around, they just didn't bring any value. All they brought was problems and bad directives. So with that being said, if you're a leader, if you're a supervisor, or if you're even a potential leader, do not give bad directives and do not give bad recommendations. Allow your team to build relationships so they can get positive feedback, so they can be successful, and they can thank you and make you look great in the process.